Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of No Ball, All Talk. We are a man down, though. We are a man down for whatever reason it may be that Mo has not been able to join us. I think the summer heat has got to him. He's laid up somewhere. But he's still joined by myself, UK Samo, and Chris Smith. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, man. I thought I'm missing him, man. Missing Mo. Rumor has it the big gaffer Sam Morgs has sent him on international duty. Told him he's been working too hard, going to have a few weeks off in the pre-season heat.
No chance, mate. No chance. No time for that. But he did come. He came back from a holiday and told me he needed another one because they're doing a holiday with the kids. He said, "Now he needs the adult holiday." Do you know what I mean? I was like, "No, none of that, mate. You've had too much time off."
Win the league.
He's professional, mate. They get too much time off, too much holiday. Need to have a word with them.
That's it. That is it.
Or he just sat at home and he just can't keep up with the Arsenal news. Do you know what I mean? Because there's just so much tension.
He's been buzzing about it, isn't it? The group's been chatting because of Mo. He is any whiff of news, he's in there. He's like found it. He's like in the trenches of like page 45 of Google, isn't he? He's finding out like, yeah. To me, it's been a good window. It's been a good window.
For Arsenal, it's been a good window so far, and obviously the rumour mill is still ticking. I think normally with Arsenal, things are done late, and then you want more, right? But it's almost deadline day, and then it just goes quiet. The rumours end, and you're like, okay, we know that's Arsenal finished, right? I think it's just been a different feeling for Arsenal in this summer window. I think where we've acted quickly. The rumours were there from the start, obviously, when it came to forwards. It started to go down one route once the Sesko news started to really go quiet. You didn't see Ornstein really talking about it, or Fabrizio were never really talking about Sesko for most of this time. So it looked like it was going to be Gyokeres, and it looks like that is now being agreed. And just a bit of a mad week or so, Chris. And I was going to put this to you really, and the rest of the guys was. You don't think that people get a little bit too overexcited by just a little breadcrumb of news that isn't true? So what I mean by that is like, you're literally within a space of 2-3 days, everyone hated Arsenal. It was Arteta out. The owners have done us. I saw Arteta out, spray paint all over his sort of paintings and stuff, or graffiti and stuff was all over by the ground because we signed Madueke, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's over. It's not good enough." Blah, blah, because the forward wasn't
in. Yeah.
But it's still like a month and a bit left of the window being open. Do you think that people just need to relax and see it play out first? Or do you feel that...
Yeah, I think so. And how many times have we been judgmental on players and you sign this? And I've been critical. I'm like, why are you signing this player when we've got this? And they've proven me wrong. So now I've just learned to just shut my mouth and just sit back and just let him happen. There's things we're talking millions and millions of pounds at stake, right? We're not talking 20 or 30 quid or a couple hundred quid or a couple of grand that we're losing here. A good or a bad deal is more money than most of us will ever see in our lifetime. And that's what they're arguing over, 1 or 2%, right? That's the difference from 75 mil to 80 mil. People just think that's a small amount of change. That's a lot of money that you're arguing about, and it's the impact that it has on the next deal. And it's not just about, we've got 300 grand, you've got financial fair play to play. You've also got salary. And now what we've seen with the Gyokeres is the agent fees was actually the problem between the two. It wasn't the two clubs, it was the agent fees. And the agent had to drop from, I think it was like 30% that they want to take down to 20 or 15%. They really, and that's because
I think it came down to 10. I think it came down to 10 though, Chris. And the thing is, he ended up, Arsenal stood firm. We're not doing it. They were standing firm because of this agent fee, and they both just came to an agreement. Well, let's just work on the agent at the end of the day. Like the thing is, both parties were in a position of power because with this agent, it's the agent. The agent has put himself in a situation where he's told his client he's going to get him his move. And it's gonna happen. So if both clubs turn to the player and say, "Look, we're ready to go, but the only thing that is actually stopping us from this like literally being signed, sealed, delivered, is your agent is asking for too much. Put it back on your hands, almost.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the agent's not going to want to lose one of his top players in his, in his client list as well. So, good negotiations. I'll say this. I truly believe, though, that if this was Edu or Arsenal from, I'm saying, 5 years ago, we would have just walked away. No, we're not doing it.
I really like how Berta is doing business. I really admire it. Like, Arsenal are a one-stop shop, right? Traditionally, we like this player, we go all in. The price starts increasing. We start playing two players off each other, and then they start dropping their price. Because if you remember, we went for Gyokeres and they put a price up. We started walking away from it, going to Sesko. Sesko started, like, the price started wobbling a bit up and down. And then, the Gyokeres deal came out a better deal than what it was. I really like how Bert's doing it, that he's not putting all of his cards on the table and going, this is how this, I've got 300 million. And they're all like, well, I want a sniff of this. I really like the Eze thing. I do think it's an Eze or a Rodrygo. I know people are saying it's not one or the other. I do think it is one or the other. But he's playing them off each other. If Rodrygo's available, great. If not, don't worry. We've got another player. It's like when you go car shopping, right? You don't go car shopping and go, I'm buying this car. There's a better car down the road, $5,000 cheaper, nicer. And it's good. I like how it's negotiating, how it's going back on it. But back to the point that we started off, there's just a lot about it, right? There's so much at stake, so much in play. And a small decision or a small look, we've done it with Pepe, right? We paid over the odds with him, and it's not Pepe's fault. Like, he's a good player. I won't say that he's not 80 million. And that pressure increases. Declan Rice has done well to recover his. I'm not saying phenomenal player, but when you start coming at the 100 million plus, unfortunately he's not the one who dictates his fee. He's the one who's got to deal with the pressure.
Pepe's difficult though, Chris, because I just feel like the timing. I feel like if Man United had signed Anthony already and he'd done the numbers or lack of numbers that he'd done, if Sancho had already signed and did what he did, lack of numbers, Mudryk came in, lack of numbers, drug ban. If Nunes, even Darwin Nunes, came in before him and done what he done, or the lack of what he done, and then we'd bought Pepe at 80 million, and he put up the numbers he did, he wouldn't be cast as a flop. Generally, I think people would have just seen it for what it is, and I think it's just timing. And I always go back, and I kind of have his back a little bit. I just feel like at the time it was like big money for Arsenal to spend, because we weren't really spending that sort of money. He was the first of like the real.
But that's what United are going to go through now, right? We have to pay stupid money to get bang average players, and that's the difference. I don't want this to be an Arsenal podcast, right? But that's the difference of Arsenal getting Champions League. You can kind of pick and choose who you want now. And that's where United are going to have that struggle, in my opinion, if getting those players that, like, you're not offering me Champions League, so you're going to have to pay a big fee, or you've got to pay me big wages, monthly wages. And we did the same with Ozil, right? Ozil's a class player, but we're giving you $400,000 a week and $400,000 a week just to keep Sanchez, to stop him losing to those sort of players, where we can now be a bit of a bully, which I like.
Yeah, I mean, I think I look at it like this, man. I just feel like teams have to be quite smart now, and I think fans need to understand there is a process. This isn't a computer game. There's so many other factors to it, and things don't get announced because people want this cool announcement video. You've got to go and speak to the music industry to go and get the rights to use music. You've got to book in the media days, the availability. There's so much, the medicals. There's so many other things before actually it gets, it's all done, we're good to go, and put it out to the world. People do need to understand that. I think what I will say, Man City done quite a lot of business early. I'm still waiting for them to do something big, because I don't think they've actually got their headline yet.
That they brought in.
I mean, Ryan Cherky's amazing from Lyon. Like, they're good players. The players they bought are good players.
I do like him. He's been with France under 21s. His first touch in a video. Oh, what he does.
No, they're good players. They are good players. I'm just waiting for I still feel like there's a headliner still to come from Man City. There's a marquee coming in. I feel like Liverpool obviously done a little bit, but now I'm going to say this: God rest his soul. Obviously, what happened at Diego Jota as well is obviously one of the most sad things you can see in football. I
agree.
But then when it comes to from a transfer perspective, that's changed everything from their side as well. Without sounding like morbid and sort of cutthroat, they've now they do have to find a natural replacement. Diaz was supposed to leave. I think they might end up in the same category of trying to look at Rodrygo if he is generally available and is leaving. I think that now puts them on the table for someone like Rodrygo. I think Anthony Gordon. Well, I think Anthony Gordon's going to be there because looking at Newcastle and who they've just been linked with, I don't think that's to replace Isak, and I don't think it's necessary to play with Isak in that sense. I think it's going to be a bit of a replacement with for Anthony
that's
Gordon.
Going to be a bit feisty, isn't it? Being what's his roots? That's going to be feisty. That is a Sol Campbell-esque move.
Oh, I don't think he goes to Liverpool. Anthony Gordon? No.
Oh, I thought you said he goes to Liverpool.
No, I don't think he goes to Liverpool. But I'm saying these are the sort of players that will be available. I think Rafael Leao at AC Milan might become available. There's going to be those sort of wingers. I think that everyone's just looking at Rodrygo, and going back to your point, there's going to be multiple players. I think there's 3 there on the wing that people are going to obviously have an interest for. I'm still waiting for Mark Guehi to leave Palace because I still think that's going to happen. With them being demoted to the Conference League as well.
I think that is a scumbag move by Nottingham Forest. Like they're very quickly becoming a very hated club.
But you know what? It's not always just down to Forest. I think at the end of the day, UEFA have got to look at themselves and go, is this really a thing? You know, Lyon and Palace are in a different ballpark for one. 2, the guy has no controlling interest in this club at all. Doesn't have a say in anything. He could sit there and say, I want this person, and his word does not carry any weight. So it just feels like they've kind of like shat on the small guy a little bit with Crystal Palace. They've earned the right to be in there. They haven't done anything that even represented a chance of them getting relegated. Lyon did and had to appeal. There was definitely something there. There was grounds for it because they got punished for it. But now they've ended up actually in a better place. To me, it's, hey, we won't relegate you. We'll put you back, but you're the ones that are going to take the Conference League, and Crystal Palace remain in the Europa. If anything, I just feel like they've got it totally the wrong way around at this point, and I think it's going on by Palace.
Look at everything. The chairman running on the pitch, shouting at Nuno. You've got this saga. Now you've got them putting a lawsuit in against Spurs. I shouldn't really be annoyed at that, but like they're just soon becoming. They were one of the. There was a petition last year. They were one of the first clubs. I think it might have been the Man City thing. There was another saga. They were one of the clubs that were like leading the appeal. They're soon becoming a very hated club.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, there's going to always be those teams that will try their luck. You can come back to non-league football if you want from combined counties, because that's exactly what Jersey Bulls did to every team in the league. You know, no one knew about it, and they.
You got a job out of it, so you're welcome, Matt.
Hey, no. I just don't like people. I don't like snitches, those tattletales. Like, just own what you've done wrong. Don't try and bring someone else into it. That's how I've always.
Well, that's it. Right? Jersey just went at everyone. If they're like the radio manager can stay or they went up, if you technically won it, then Jersey done it and. But
I think at the end of the day, it is what it is on that, you know, on those fronts. I just feel like people need to keep themselves in their own lane, and you know what, earn it.
I'm glad they
don't do anything wrong. Yeah, just earn it. But I feel like, I said, I feel like at the moment,
I can see Croydon going up to Nottingham Forest. That's going to be an interesting turnout.
Oh yeah, that's going to be when the ultras are out there for sure. I mean. I'd say, mate, transfers have been crazy. Things have been happening. João Pedro looks like a great signing for Chelsea. He's been a good player. He's kept himself in a good plot. He's just, there goes your first medal straight away. He's always been a good player. I think he looked good at Watford, and we were linked with him when he was at Watford. We never really pulled the trigger on someone like him at that time. But I think he's going to suit Chelsea. Yeah, I think everyone's jumping the gun. I think Chelsea do look good. They definitely look more solid. Like at the end of the day, they look a more complete team. I think Cole Palmer's a good player, but okay, he scored 2 goals, but they're his first goals from open play since January. Yeah, and it's like jumped on that hype again. I'd like to see him a bit more consistent. I think he's got a great bit of talent. He comes across as like a greedish guy. Football is life. Do you know what I mean? That's all he knows, and that's everything that's running through his brain is probably like football all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like that's him. Like he probably still visits his parents' house and there's a goal in the back garden that he's probably hitting the ball into. Do you know what I mean? Just comes across that like genuine guy.
Like that.
Yeah. But I see Chelsea. I don't see Chelsea progressing past what they did last year. I feel like they'll finish 4th.
I'm worried that talking about Chelsea and Club World Cup, I'm worried that this is going to. I'm not worried at all. Actually, being an Arsenal fan, but I think it's going to cause burnout. I think because the players are going to they now need to go on a break. They're probably only going to get 2 or 3 weeks, and they're going to be cut. And that's the whole squad. You're not just talking about 1 or 2. Like we've got some players coming back, and we're like, do you know what? Miss out going to Spain, or you come back and you'll make like the Gyokeres and people like that. They'll probably make the Emirates Cup. They've had a break, but you're now saying 16 players, 17 players are all going to be 2 weeks break. I can see this having long-term implications, and mark this and pin this video somewhere when it comes to February and Chelsea are moaning about injuries because we've just burnt them out.
Yeah, it's too much. And I think I did like what I saw from them in this competition. I really did. I think they have definitely improved in that sense. I said I don't think they're going to improve the league position. If I thought PSG looked
in that
they looked leggy. Yeah, they were.
They've gone to the Champions League final. Okay, they've had a few more extra games than Chelsea, but they look knackered.
They do. I think it's going to suit. I think it will suit Arsenal, Liverpool. Man City got out a little bit earlier, so they've been able to have that break and then come back into pre-season. So I feel like Man City will be okay. But yeah, Chelsea playing all the way up to this time. Where are we? The 14th of July. They're probably just flying back now. Got to get acclimatized 3 days. That's this week. This week is gone. Yeah. Another couple of weeks, or if another week, in fact. And we're sitting here on the 21st of July, getting close to the end of July. Well, they got 2 weeks. 16th, 17th is like the first game.
That's what I mean. It's early. They've got early. It is early. They've got a month to have time off.
Yeah.
And not get back fit again, but probably just tarnish off a few cobwebs and get things in. And that's bearing in mind that they haven't got injuries. There are players now that need surgery. There's players that probably need to get rid of pre-existing medical injuries that they've got, strains, all of that.
It's not going to be. Let's see how much of a flying start. Let's see how much of a flying start they have. I'm interested. I think if Man City get that marquee signing, I have them bouncing back. If I'm honest, they're going to be the team. I think this year is going to be tough. This is why I worry as an Arsenal fan that we not say we've missed the boat a little bit, but I think we missed the easier layup
for sure.
of the last couple of years, I think. And I think last year was totally ruined by not investing in January. I really do. I think that was a real kick in the teeth to stay as close to Liverpool as possible. But I think at that time we were probably so much more closer to them.
Yeah, I think it was 5 points at one point, right? 5 points at their place, I think. I remember rightly. Brings it back to 2 points, and then it's a lot.
Look at the way they ended. They didn't end the season very strongly. They didn't need to, right? Because the gap was so big. We ended up closing it so much to make it look a little bit more respectable than what it actually was. But Liverpool were kind of taking the foot off the gas. They went to Dubai with 3 games to spare. Do you know what I mean? That was the gap, And that's why I feel like we missed out a little bit. But this year, Arsenal have invested well, even up to this point. If they add a couple more, great. Liverpool had a very strong squad last year.
Who did they sell?
To think, I think Arsenal sell a lot. I think it's not saying we're going to get loads of money, but there's plenty there to offset a player for a player.
So if we buy the players, so what are we saying? Gyokeres 70 mil, 80 mil?
No, £56 million. If you're talking about pounds, it's 56.
All right, £56 million. The centre back that we've just got from
Valencia. Is a 19 million all in, £14 million up front.
So what's the total deal? Because that's what we've probably got on the total. I said 40 million. All right,
19 million is there.
How much was Zubimendi?
Zubimendi was 51. That was a release clause.
Okay, so we're at 111. Who else have we signed?
Are we saying plus the keeper 5 million?
Yeah, that's good business. 116 million.
Nerdegaard 9 million up front. The rest is in add-ons.
120 million. That's actually not bad business for 120 million.
And Madueke, he's just finished his medical, which he's passed.
Oh yeah, forget about it. That's 50 something. Well,
they said it's anywhere between 40 and 48. I've seen, so I'll just go top end
45
million up front. Yeah.
What was it? 20 161, 162, sort of roughly.
Say 100. I'm saying 160 million, right? And we don't obviously pay that all up front, but we're at 160 million at this stage, right?
You've got 6 players.
And we've got 6 players. They're talking about, and it's not ending. There's no one saying there's no. Arsenal, I said, come out and say, look, we're done. They do. Like, we got to sell. No one's actually come out and said, hey, we need to sell now. That's what used to always happen. It's a vicious cycle. Hey, we now need to sell players. They used to be very clear.
160. So if we work backwards, then Kiwa 20 mil, Zinchenko 10 mil,
20 mil for Kivior, 10 mil for Zinchenko. I'd say 20 million for Vieira, 15 million for Reece Nelson, Lokonga, 10 million if you're lucky, I think.
Yeah.
Who's in there? That's given us 70. That's given us 75 mil, I think, at that stage. I'm trying to think who else
40,
is
50, 60, 75 mil. Yeah. So
I think Trossard goes. I think Trossard is sold. Like,
yeah, I agree.
The contract's not being extended. I think we paid 21 million for him the last time he had a year left on his contract, or 6 months left before his contract, or something. At the end of the day, I think we still get anywhere between 10 and 15 million with him with a year left on his contract. Like, you're now starting to approach that 90 million from sales. I think when you start looking at that, going, okay, there's 90 million that you offset that with what net? So we're at a net spend of what, 70 million?
Yeah.
Come on, Chris. There's something there. And to me, if we're at a net spend of 70 million, if we do sell those guys, I think I can actually see there being 100 million to spend.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the net 70? So net spend being 170. And bearing in mind, we've also got rid of Jorginho's contract, which I think was quite punchy. It wasn't one of the cheap ones, that's for sure.
Partey, Jorginho, Tomiyasu. Yeah, Tomiyasu wasn't on big money. I think it was 100k. I think, to be fair, like salary rise, it's probably about 400 grand, 450. I think all in. To be honest, is what we got off. But we obviously replaced that with other wages.
200. I reckon we're about half.
Tierney, 100.
Tierney, Tierney 100. I'm saying Tomiyasu's probably about 70.
Yeah.
Partey was 200 plus. Jorginho was probably about 150. What to 200?
Yeah. So we're in that half a mil, but we've replaced that. Do you know what I mean, with the players? I don't think we need to look at. I know people are talking about salaries, but we've kind of already.
We've also given Miles Lewis-Skelly a contract. We've also given
Wanyeri's done.
And they were probably on 10 grand a week. They're probably now on 60 or 70.
Even that, mate. I don't think they were even on. I don't even think they were on 10 grand a week.
No, I do hear a lot of the youth now are on like 5 grand now a week.
Yeah, I think that's probably where they're
the
at.
better ones.
Yeah, I think that's probably where they're at, and they're probably on like a smaller wage, and it'd be like, you know what, you've got what do you call it? The appearance fees. You know what I mean? It'll be in the contract that they'll have an appearance fee and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, mate, I look at it like this. I still think there's that 100 million to spend, and I think the club will be creative to go, okay, there's actually, you can split that between two, because there's actually the 40 to 50 millions to start putting up front to people, you know, or even 30 millions to put up front with people. And as I said, I do think a lot of that chat, and Ornstein's one of the best to look at it. When Gyokeres was coming out, when they were talking about Eze, Madueke, it was, even with Madueke, it was like they're looking for a striker, a left winger, and a central midfielder, like a cam, right? So Eze's the cam. Madueke's not the left winger. He's back up to Saka, and that is what is being reported all the way through. And then you've got the forward. So to me, it's Eze and one more, and that's how I'm still perceiving that is going to be the case.
I would love to see what their plans are with Nweri, though. I would like, because if I was him, he done well last year, right? And he done better than what people probably anticipated he would do when Saka went out injured. He actually came on and he looked like he could handle. And it would be, I thought this would be the year where he gets more games, more cup games, a few league games. They pull Saka a bit early. But now they're going to end up going and getting Noni. And I'm like, okay, so that puts him down third in that pecking order on the right-hand side. Or I was thinking, do they put, you know, this is before you were saying about Eze being in there, do they put him in the number 10, like Ethan in the number 10? And he be the understudy to Odegaard. But then where do you have Nani? But yeah, that's
Nani's on the right is the backup to Saka. There's no questions about it.
Sorry, not Nani. Saying Eze being in the 10. Eze. I think Eze is a left winger.
Oh mate, stick Eze in the 10, mate. He's magic, mate. It don't matter. I mean, to be fair to me, I don't think it matters. I think you know what's crazy about the Arsenal mentality and some of the fan mentality. Some of the fan mentality for me is this. I think when I look at how Arsenal are at this time, I feel like the biggest issue is this. We always, every year, look at Man City's bench. Look at Liverpool's bench. Look at Chelsea's bench. Squad depth. The one time we go to do this, everyone's complaining about Nweri. Chill out. Like, I've got to look at it like this and go, right, goalkeeper, we're now, forget Neto, we actually have a backup goalkeeper in Kepa.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that now, because I thought Raya had a bit of burnout, mentally was burnt out towards the end of the season. He was doing some mad shit at times, man.
Yeah.
Like diving super early, coming out for mad shit. Like, he needs a break. Like, he can't play Carling Cup, FA Cup. Get Kepa playing those. If Raya's playing Champions League, happy days. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's what it is, but give him those. He doesn't need to be playing Saturday, Tuesday for like 3 weeks at some points during the season. Like, we have clear backup. We've got Timber and Ben White. Ben White obviously being back now, playing on that side for me is unbelievable. Miles Lewis-Skelly and Calafiore now as our left backs. We have actual, like, again, players.
It's funny you say that. I didn't think of it like that. They've got very similar characteristics. Calafiore to Ben White, the way that they play, and then you've got Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly, very similar the way that they play.
Exactly.
New
centre half coming in. Obviously, then with mixed in, obviously with Gabriel and Saliba. Yeah, we're covered in that sense, and we know that both Ben White and Calafiore can all play along there as well. So, like, we've got this like nice backup across the board at the back. We didn't get into central midfield this year. Marino playing in. Obviously, you've got Marino. You've got Zubimendi now coming in, obviously in that position. Havertz can obviously play there if he needs to, but could be seen obviously as the there with obviously Gyokeres as well if we obviously needed that. But people forget that Odegaard can play in that deeper role, and Nwaneri is actually the one where it's Nwaneri and Eze.
Well, look at that midfield, right? You've got Zubimendi, you've got Norgard, you've got Rice, you've got Marino, Odegaard in 3 positions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's exactly that. But that's what I'm saying about the right side. We've now every position.
I've not even mentioned Declan Rice. I've not even mentioned Declan Rice.
Yeah, that's what I said there was Rice, Marino, Norgard, Zubimendi,
and Norgard, obviously Norgard, sorry, obviously he's coming.
Yeah, so we've got 7 that can play in those positions, right? Because Havertz could play in that 8.
I think Havertz has probably got to take him out. I think Havertz got to be taken out and obviously they see Havertz as a forward. I think that's another reason. I don't think he's done that off his own back. I think the club has spoken to him about bulking up. I generally think that's
he looks great, doesn't he?
And I think that's a forward. You don't do that in the set. I don't think you do that physique in the middle of the park.
You want to be
up and
stronger.
down, So I think that's where he's going to be seen. So I think you're going to look and go, you've got Havertz and you've got Gyokeres up top there. So to me, I'm looking at obviously the 10s. If you're talking about the 10s, then obviously, you're going to go, you might say Eze, you might say Odegaard and Nwaneri. There's no issues with that because what will happen, Chris, is if people go, okay, we got what happened last year, we ended up carrying 4, 5 injuries? It fucked us. Like, let's be in a position where we can live with 5 injuries and suspensions. They don't like us, by the way. Do you know what I mean? The red cards that we've got. We just want to know that do you know what? How nice, how relieved will you be knowing that if there's a suspension, if there's an injury, the person coming in is great and the bench is still super strong?
Yeah.
We will.
What I will say on that though, Morgs, and I'll stop you there, is that Arteta does need to make the substitutions because look, you brought in Sterling last year, and you could see in games that you were flagging it. It's slow. It's great getting the depth, and it's maybe because I think Arteta's he either trusts you or doesn't. There's no middle ground, and it's quite obvious if you're in the click or you're out the click. Shevchenko, you could see it when the click changed. All of a sudden, he's putting Tierney in left wing attacking positions, and then putting he just didn't want to play. And I think that's the way Arteta is. But he needs to drop this. I don't want to say ego or arrogance, but he needs to drop this thing of trust more players a bit.
He's got that now, but I'm saying he's got that because he's now got his players. Obviously Sterling was I've had him before, it's a stopgap. Because if we didn't have him,
wasn't his signing
worse off.
It wasn't his signing. So I saw an interview of Edu saying when this came to me available, I went to Mikel, and Mikel essentially didn't write the answer off and was like, "Yeah, I'm interested." And it wasn't his player.
Yeah. So what do you do then at that point? That's what I'm saying. So this is now because I agree with you. Because I was screaming out, why are we not making these substitutions? Why are we not making subs? And you look at the bench, it's the people that he's not in his little, like you say, in his clique. They're not Arteta's guys. Now there is no excuses. He has his guys. Bert has gone out and done this, and he's got his people. You talk about profile, but look, young Spanish centre half, Zubimendi's coming. Spanish goalkeeper, he's getting his profile of player now. There won't be any excuses, and I think having the squad depth now the way it is better for us. Look, we tailed off with all those injuries and suspensions, but we still got to a semi-final. We still the Champions League. We still finished second in the Premier League. Okay, it wasn't pretty reading, but when you look at the players we lost, so can he do this again with all the squad depth, where people can? Because I think this is the way you challenge for a Carling Cup or Carabao Cup or whatever it is these days. Because we could still be able to put a very strong 11. If you think about a backup 11, I'm trying not to make this an Arsenal pod here, but if you look at this from a backup standpoint, Kepa, White, even if it is Kivior remains. Obviously, is it Middlewesker? I think his name is obviously the new centre half. Yeah, and then you're putting Calafiori there as your left back, as a back line for a Carling Cup. Cheers. Midfield, you're still putting in Marino and you're putting Norgard in as your base. And then you're having a choice potentially of Eze and Nwaneri. Madueke on her right. Like, is it going to be a Martinelli or Trossard? If it just remains them two, fine. It could be Eze, and then you've still got Havertz up top. Come on,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's what you need to be in. And then when it comes to FA Cup, you mix in the two, gives people rest. Champions League, you go firing on all cylinders with both teams. It's
the question I get all the time, Sam, is if Arteta doesn't win anything this year, does he go?
I think he's in trouble. I do think he's in trouble a little bit. I think he knows that. I think he needs to know that. I think there's that pressure. Do I want Arteta to leave? I don't think so. I don't think so just yet, because there's two things for me. Who do you bring in? Who's the next manager? Because everyone's in these top places. I think he has to have something this year, though. Me personally, to take that heat off him, doesn't matter what it is. He needs something, because we've gone and got the players that we've all been crying out for. That everyone's like, oh, they need a forward. So like, when you start taking away these people's excuses from the people that backed you up, oh, we never had a forward, we had suspensions, injuries, blah blah blah. Once you start taking those away, there's no hiding.
Yeah,
and I think he has to. To me, I feel like he does need to deliver something this year. My problem is what trophy is good enough? Is any trophy good enough? Is any trophy good enough? Because
I think one of the main four: FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fourth one was.
Doesn't count as Emirates Cup. I feel like it has to be one of those three, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think League, FA Cup, or Champions League. I'd like to see. I'd like to see. The League Cup is great. The League Cup is great. It's nice, but ultimately, when you look at it, that is the foundations of a team that is maybe getting better. So if you look at Newcastle, I think it was a great achievement for Newcastle to get some silverware, because they've been so good. Like in terms of where they've come from, I think they're rewarded with the Carling Cup. But then they need to look and go, probably the next step is the FA Cup. If you're looking at it from a Newcastle standpoint, do you think the next step for them is an FA Cup? I think so. If they're looking at it in terms of like the prestigious, in terms of the trophies, FA Cup is better than Carling. Sorry, I keep saying Carling Cup, showing my age, but I feel that that's better. The FA Cup is better than the Carabao Cup.
100%.
So
100%.
So that we have to be looking. We have to be looking at that. We have to.
We haven't had a good FA Cup run the last 2 years, though, right? We've gone out pretty early for our own standards.
Because he's put awful teams out. Like, what I'm tired of seeing, right, is where we've put some real like dog shit lineups out. It's been bad. Like, this is why I come back to squad depth. If we did that and you still had a couple of starters in there, that's what we need to be doing. I think really, like, the Carling Cup has to be completely rotated. When you're playing, I don't know, whatever, Andorra SC or whatever is in the Champions League, play the rotated team. Look at you have to look at this new format now. Look at where PSG were and the games they lost and stuff. You can get away with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can get away with it so much more.
Like, top 10 or top 12 go for? I can't remember.
Top 12, and you end up with some crap. But they've changed it now, because obviously that's where like Liverpool were obviously undone. They won the league, unbeaten in the Champions League league format, and then ended up with PSG. They have changed that now, so you do need to be up there. But I do think that we can get away with that squad depth. But on your point, Arteta does need to win something. I know Arsenal fans are like, no, it's this, and he has. He's brought back a club that I've got that warm feeling again about Arsenal. I enjoy it. I don't want to miss it. I never want to miss a single game. You know, there will be times you're like, fuck, man, like we're on TV, or
it's hard to get
tickets for the game. Yeah, it was tough.
I had like 5 or 6 friends who have got season ticket, and I used to probably get offered at least 2 or 3 a month.
Yeah.
I'll be lucky if I get 2 or 3 a year now.
Not happening now. So I mean,
I've been on the season ticket for 8 years.
But do you look at it? I look at it like this for Arteta. If you look at Man City, they won a couple of things, but it was like, right, who's going to take them to the next level? And it was Pep. Pep took Man City, even though they were winning a few things, took them to that next level. And I just wonder, is Arteta got us to this year? We need to see him this year, and he's got all these pieces. Are we there? Do we win something? If we don't, and we're way off, or we missed the boat on everything, they've got to look at it. But I still have reservations of, is that person out there to take us to the next level? Realistically, that will still keep the fans together the way they kind of are, apart from a few morons, and have that sort of tradition that we want and have at Arsenal.
It's understanding the DNA, right? Arteta was a player, was our captain. I think it's there's more to the club. It's deep within the roots within Arteta, and you can see that. I think even Pep said it. It was like, this is when Arteta left Pep's side, he was like, that's his club. So
what are you saying? Do you think he's got a win tonight? Let's hear it from you, mate.
Yeah, I think he has to. I think we've run out of excuses. He has to win something. And I'm a bit like you. Then who? What? I actually do like what Arteta brings. The sense of belief. You've got the impatient armchair fans that are just like frustrated, but I get it. But I look at the bigger picture, especially being on the chairman's side of like, we're financially in a good place. We're now attracting the best players. We get Champions League pretty much every year now. People are talking about us as contenders. Whether we do it or not is the other thing. I remember the 8 years where we were being laughed at because we were fifth every year. It was like fifth place was like dead and buried Arsenal Cup. We were overpaying for bang average players. I remember those years. I'm not a fan that's been a fan for the last 4 years where things have been good. I remember the tough years watching. Who was that Greek guy at the back? You had Mustafi and Klojanak at the back. And it was
Papadopoulos or whatever his name is.
And I remember those years, and it's nice. I'm excited. Like you, I'm excited. I move my whole weekend so I can watch the Arsenal game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember people used to say, did you watch Arsenal on the weekend? I'm like, no, what was the score? I remember those days, right, where I couldn't care about Arsenal at all. But we pretty much made it an Arsenal podcast, so we may as well finish on it. What do you reckon of Hines coming in as the assistant?
Brilliant. Love it. Absolutely love it. I think if I look at Liverpool when it was under Klopp, I even look at like Newcastle's like number 2. I look at Mourinho always had someone there, that just has that same passion, delivering the same message. I think it helps. I think this helps Arteta, so that Arteta is not always the face on the touchline. They deliver the same message. He can be there. He's got that passion. I've seen some videos from training already. Like, I love it. I think it's class. This is also another guy, by the way, that's played in the Premier League, understands the culture, and he was a winner himself. He knows what it takes. I like it. It's a good appointment, and in my eyes, having someone.
I wanted Santi to hang up his boots, and that was it. I thought that was.
I think Santi still ends up. I think Santi ends up there. But look, listen, I just feel like we need to be careful. It just becomes like it's nice to add. Like, listen, when I play I play Football Manager. Like, I try to do that, right? I try to look for the old Arsenal players to join. But the realistic bit is we need the best coaches. Yeah. We need the best, the best coaches there. Like, we don't know if Santi's there. It's a shame, like, how good Fabregas is doing as a manager right now, because it's like Fab would have been class. And you know what? I can still see that one day that he ends up managing Arsenal. I really do. I can see that.
He could be the one. When you talk about it, years away, right? Let him go and have his time. But he could be one
potentially. I feel like
people got to forget as well. This is Arteta's first job, and I think people forget.
People got to think about that. Yeah, people do have to think about that. I feel like people do have to think about that, but he's in a very fortunate position. This is a whole different conversation for me, because he's in a very fortunate position to be able to go and do it and get a job like Arsenal as your first job. Like, it is insane. So what he's doing as your first time as a manager is pretty good going. But Yeah, listen, I think he's in a fortunate position. He's been doing a great job, but I think now let's say this is the year we need to be happy. Because the FA Cup during COVID and stuff like that to me is the same. Doesn't mean a lot. Same as I feel like the Liverpool winning the league that time with no fans. It's such a weird, obscure timing. Like I do feel like it's an asterisk all around for all of those. And that's the thing people do forget. In so much so that people forget that Arteta has lifted the trophies with Arsenal. That's how it is. Because people forget. Because it's like Arteta's never. I hear it. Arteta's never won a trophy for Arsenal. That's incorrect. He's won an FA Cup. When you wanted to use the Community Shield as a trophy. What was it this year or whatever? Saying that Arsenal were the only ones that won it. So it's like, okay, if you want to put those in place as well, then Arteta has lifted silverware. But I feel like it's forgotten because it was also the COVID years. So I feel like it's important he does lift a trophy this year. I feel like that would be a real problem for the rest of the league if Arteta does win a trophy. And it is one of those ones that we talked about, if it's the league, FA Cup, or the Champions League, because if we're able to pull people in now and come to this project with the way it is now, what happens when we are winning trophies? You're in trouble. I think people are in trouble. And that's the thing is that people will keep shitting on Arsenal because they want them to stay where they are. Do you know what I mean? The nearly team. So if we start winning stuff, I think it's a problem for a lot of the league. And that's the same with Liverpool.
I'll be the worst fan. I'll be knocking on people's doors. I'm going to be the worst, mate. So I promise you, I'm just
Liverpool.
People I haven't spoken to in 10 years, and just.
But that's what Liverpool have done. That's what Liverpool fans have been doing. Because we didn't hear from them for ages. The Stuart Downing days, I didn't even know. Friends of mine, I didn't even know they were Liverpool fans. You know what I mean? So rightfully so, they're able to be the way they are, and they backed it up. Champions League, leagues, they're able to back it up and do that. And that is the biggest problem for me. I didn't want Liverpool to be winning stuff because I am threatened by Liverpool. The fact that if you go toe to toe, they can actually say, look, if you're winning things is your thing, you come to us. Truthfully, that's how it is. If you're looking at Arsenal and Liverpool, if it's you're joining a team to win things, you're joining Liverpool. Because they're proven. If you're talking about money, they're probably paying about the same. If you want lifestyle to like some other traditions and that London thing, you're probably going to Arsenal. And the facilities and everything, you're going to Arsenal. And you're in the hoping that you can top it off with the trophies potentially. But we're potential. Liverpool's almost a guarantee at this moment in terms of winning things. That's how I look at it.
In the next 5 years,
Arsenal win things,
they're definitely going to win something, right? In the next 5 years.
Exactly. So that's how I see it. One last thing for me, mate. One last thing for me before we actually wrap up. Actually, is if you're talking about we're talking about the top teams here at the moment. I see Sunderland get deep in their pockets already. They've started spending a bit of money. With the likes of Brentford losing players, Thomas Frank obviously coming out of there now and obviously going to Tottenham. Do you see any of the three that came up from the Championship surviving?
Who are the three again? Remind me. Birmingham,
Sunderland, Leeds, and Burnley. Scott Parker at Burnley.
No, Scott Parker is known for being. He's too good for the Championship. He's got the code to get out of the Championship. It's just the Prem he can't unlock. Because I remember when Burnley come up and everyone was like, they destroyed the Championship. They played Burnley ball, and it just didn't work.
That was Company, wasn't it? Yeah, Vincent Company just didn't work. Yeah, it wasn't great. So you think Burnley go down?
Sunderland. I think Leeds will stay up. Leeds will stay up. But again, when you talk about history of it, Leeds have got longer history of doing it.
Yeah.
Sunderland, I don't know about. That's the one that I might. Who ends up being in the Premier League? Let me just have a little glanders at my phone of who could be going down. Tottenham. No, they're all right. We can all hope.
Nah, they'll be all right.
25 to 26. Let's have a look. Fulham will probably survive it. Everton, they didn't have a great season. They survived it just at the end.
Because what you think about it, I think that's David Moyes came in though and saved them, right?
Yeah, but it was that buzz. But has he done anything? Like, I haven't heard them recruit in the summer. You always get that new management lift, right? Of like new ideas, something fresh.
Yeah.
And then
new stadium,
those
new stadium.
ideas run out. Yeah, I guess the new stadium probably giving them that extra lift. You are right there.
Yeah.
Wolves.
I think Wolves. That's my one. If any of those three are to survive, I think it's Wolves that go down. Cunha gone.
Yeah.
Those goals are important when you're down there massively.
So we're going Wolves, Burnley.
I don't think Sunderland survive. I think they're the three. I think Man United should be away from it by then. I think Man United might break into like the top 15 this year. And that's not banter aside. I won't say 15. That's a bit harsh. I'm struggling to see. I'm struggling to see at the moment. Okay, Mbeumo and Cunha obviously going in there.
Yeah, so you got Brentford. Okay. They will come down because they've
depends if Weiser goes, maybe. I think they've got. The thing is, it's just their style of play. The thing is, Thomas Frank's not taking all of his staff. Like the staff is embedded there at Brentford. I think they'll still be. Okay, the scouting system's good. No,
I saw comments, not comments. Or I saw some photos like, the goalkeeper coach is gone, and this is gone, and this is gone.
Yeah, but not all. Because they've done it before. So Thomas Frank was under Dean Smith. Like
right, okay.
So they have like a succession plan. So I think there'll be certain things in place, and things will be slightly different, of course. But their scouting's half decent. They always bring in a good unknown. Like they bring in a good business.
To get there though, it does. It's not like they find players that come and make an instant impact. Like they find 4 players and also play in the way that this manager likes. So there's going to be players in there that don't fit into the new manager's style. So I think that's where they're going to struggle. Be interesting if Palace get raided. We're talking about Gay. We're talking about Eze. People are talking about
Mateta going to.
Mateta, I think they will lose, especially if they do lose their appeal of Europa. I think Europa was the one thing that was stopping them getting raided.
This is why Arsenal need to move quick with Eze, because if anyone gets wind of like raiding them, they don't want to get to a point where can't lose 4 or 5.
That's the problem, innit? When you're like the third one to get raided, your price goes up because it's
exactly.
I remember who it was. It was a few years ago. Arsenal came in after like 3 or 4 players have gone, and they were just asking for silly money.
They can't do it. So it'd be interesting. I hope they don't. The only good thing about Palace, their academy is phenomenal. Like
but they've got a very good catchment area. Very good catchment area.
It's the best. It's the best. I can't. I see these lads firsthand. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're unbelievable. So, it's one of the best. You know, I think just how their attitudes towards football. That's when you look at Manchester and Liverpool. Their attitudes towards football, to me, is the same as it is in around that sort of Croydon area. I call it the borough of Croydon. It's the same. You know, so it's like survival football for me. So I think when you look at it like that,
you a lot, right?
It does. It does. It's that mentality. But yeah, man, it'd be interesting to see the rest of this. I don't think people need to panic for any of their sides. I know people like looking at Man United, haven't spent. They're going to spend money. They always have done, always will. I think they're reliant on getting rid of the likes of Garnacho and Rashford though first because of the Champions League element. I think once they sell those 2 or 3, they could probably recoup like 80, 90 million themselves because of just the profile of player. That's their Champions League money.
I don't think they'll get that. No, I actually think you'll get, and I think it's disrespectful them. I think you'll get 30 or 40 mil for Rashford, and I reckon you might get the same. Like I think, but for best case, I can see 80 mil. Best case.
Yeah.
And that's a big loss, right? That's a big financial loss. But I suppose Rashford's good for their financial fair play because he's obviously come through the system. But still, I remember there was 120 million price head on his head a couple of years ago, right? He was hot property when he was probably about 5 when he was touching the England squad. And I really hope Man United get relegated. It will just Yeah, I know a lot of.
I don't think that's gonna happen, mate. I don't think that's.
They'll just sack the manager and go again. But yeah,
I don't think that happens.
They're rotten at the core, though, United, and that's where I see it. It's from the top down.
Yeah. I don't think they get relegated. I just think that they can't afford to get rid of another manager.
You can hope.
You can hope, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're too big for that to happen, and but there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen internally. And I think the hardest thing is I think fans need to manage expectations and go, look, what do we do? We've been shy for the last 5 years, maybe more, right? And I know they're talking about the owners. Would they respect the owners, including what's his name, Jim Ratcliffe, coming out and saying, look, we can keep chucking money at these players with no real investment and people wanting to leave because we've got a leaky roof. The gym stuff hasn't been done. We've had to cut back on staff, etc., etc. Or do we go lean, try and get the Man United way where we did always have Man United at the end of the season used to always play about 3 or 4 academy players every single time without fail. You used to always see it. Always. They haven't done that for a long time. Do we peel back and go, do we try and relook at our academy? Because Man City are taking everyone, by the way. Mm-hmm. Do we need to really look at that again? Do we need to peel back? We're not winning anything anyway. Do we use our investment to fix the leaky roof, change the like you say, in the core of the actual club itself, get that right, not patches, not patching it up, fix it, and then go, right, I think we're now actually in a position where it's attractive to come and play for Man United again, in that sense. Go big like we always have done. But in the meantime, look what we've done. We've managed to bring through 3-4 players, and we haven't had to rely on Johnny Evans, Christian Eriksen. We've got these young players that are doing that. Do you know what I mean? They've switched their model.
10-year project, but unfortunately, fans aren't patient enough for 10 years. Like what you're now talking about is like that is you maybe even more. You maybe even been looking at.
But even if they do that, even if they haven't got the patience, though, Chris, what I'm saying, and we're going way over topic here, but even if they have the patience, they've still got to be better than the current top 4, which is Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea.
It's tough, right? And there's more to play than just winning, especially when you're a club like Manchester United, where you're a brand, right? Because your actual investment, and I believe they're on the stock market, and their valuation changed so much, right? And they actually can't make rational decisions like that because of where they're standing and what they have to actually report up to the London Stock Exchange, right? So that it's not as easy for them to make these like radical movements. But I agree with you. What they're doing at the moment is they're fixing this hole and the water's coming in over here. They fix that hole and the water starts coming over here. So they're just patching over. And I do agree with what you're saying is let's rip it up, completely start again, create a new DNA because the old DNA is gone, right? The Sir Alex Ferguson DNA is gone. He's left. And I think it's best to leave it there rather than trying to take on someone else's DNA that's not yours and it's not authentic. And I think they need to start that again.
Okay. And last point then, just a quick prediction: where the Man United finish this season, or where they finish, and what would be good for them?
I think 8th will be good.
Yeah.
I think they'll finish 10th.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair. I think they're going to, whether they spend money in this window or January, they'll spend money, and we know that. Like you said, that's the DNA. They will spend it. They're not a poor club.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think 8th they've done really well, but it depends.
No, love that.
We've got to promise fans next week we won't speak about Arsenal for 50 minutes.
We'll try. So, we will try, but I would like to hear from some other fans as well. Hear from like Liverpool fans. They think they got it in the bag again to go back to back. Our Man United fans actually got their realistic hats on. Is 8th where they want to be next? Not where they want to be, where they expect they as a minimum they need to be next year. That would be interesting to hear. And do people disagree with us? Do they think their teams need to be moving a bit faster with transfers? Have they got it? Have they got it right so far? I'd love to hear that from other people at this point as well. But yeah, that has been another episode of No Ball and All Talk.
Cheers, Morgs.